In the summer of 1942, Pascagoula, Mississippi, was the kind of town that felt like a cozy snapshot of wartime America, small, quiet, and bursting with pride. Picture this: streets lined with stunning magnolia trees, the air buzzing with the sounds of shipyard workers crafting naval vessels for World War II, and every single house proudly displaying the American flag. It was a tight-knit community where everyone knew each other's names. Doors were left wide open, and the juiciest gossip flowed from the Sunday sermons. But then, out of nowhere, that peaceful vibe got totally upended when something, or someone, started sneaking around at night. It all kicked off with a bizarre story that spread like wildfire through the town. Can you believe it? Someone was breaking into homes just to snip off people's hair. The local newspapers dubbed this mysterious figure the Phantom Barber. How wild is that? Just imagine the fear and confusion swirling around Pascagoula as folks tried to wrap their heads around this strange new reality. And what started as a strange little prank quickly spiraled into one of the creepiest crime waves in American history. Can you believe it? The first report rolled in during June 1942. A young couple, Mr. and Mrs. Griffin, woke up to find a screen on their bedroom window slashed open. It's wild, right? Nothing was taken. No cash, no valuables. But Mrs. Griffin's long, beautiful braid had been chopped off and left looking all uneven. She hadn't even felt a thing. At first, the police brushed it off, saying it was just wartime jitters, or maybe even her imagination playing tricks. But just days later, another family came forward with a similar story. Picture this: a 6-year-old girl woke up screaming, terrified because someone had been in her room, snipping away at her hair while she slept. Her parents found the same slashed window screen and the unsettling silence outside. It was like a nightmare unfolding right in their cozy little town. That was when Pascagoula started locking its doors tight, like really tight. By the end of the month, there were 6 reported intrusions, all happening under the cover of darkness, always through a window, always sneaky. And every time, there was this eerie reminder left behind: freshly cut hair, sometimes just sitting there in a neat little pile on the floor, which is super creepy, right? Women started sleeping with scissors under their pillows, thinking it might help. Men were up all night, shotguns resting across their laps, ready for anything. Even the dogs, usually so chill, seemed to sense the tension, barking at shadows and pacing nervously. It was like the whole town was holding its breath, waiting for the next bizarre incident to unfold. But the strangest part, no one ever saw him enter or leave. Police ramped up patrols, but the Phantom just slipped through their fingers like smoke, you know? It was like he had some magic trick up his sleeve. No fingerprints, no footprints, nothing to grab onto. Each house he picked felt like a random lottery win for him, and every time, the tale was eerily similar: a chilling draft, a weird metallic scent lingering in the air, and then silence until morning. And that's when the town truly realized just how dangerous he really was. On the night of August 5th, 1942, Pascagoula's fear turned to panic. In a small home near the edge of town, Mr. and Mrs. Terrell Heidelberg were attacked in their sleep. The intruder slipped in through the bathroom window, striking them both with an iron pipe. Mrs. Heidelberg's skull was fractured, though she miraculously survived. Mr. Heidelberg suffered severe cuts and bruises. The Phantom had finally drawn blood. For the first time, police had physical evidence: footprints near the window, a faint scent of some kind of chemical or disinfectant, and strands of hair, again cut, found scattered near the door. The chief of police, A.W. as L., told reporters that the attack was clearly the work of the Phantom Barber, and the local paper screamed the headline, "Phantom Barber turns violent. Pascagoula under siege." The town went into lockdown. Curfews were enforced. Armed guards patrolled the streets. Women and children were sent to stay with relatives. Everyone expected another attack, and sure enough, one came. A week later, Reeves Elementary School reported an attempted break-in. The janitor found a window pried open and a faint oily residue on the sill. In a nearby classroom, several locks of blonde hair were found on the floor. No one could say whose. It was as if the Phantom was taunting them. Then, something strange happened. A local chemist named William Dolan was arrested. Police found suspicious materials in his home: rubber gloves, some chemicals, and scissors. They claimed he had a grudge against the Heidelbergs, one of his alleged victims, because of a business dispute. The town rejoiced. The Phantom Barber had been caught, or so they believed. But even as Dolan sat in jail, more reports came in. Another house broken into, another lock of hair missing, another window slashed clean. The police ignored it at first, unwilling to admit they might have the wrong man. But eventually, they had to face it. The real Phantom Barber was still out there. Theories began to spiral. Some believed the intruder was a soldier, perhaps one stationed at the nearby Air Corps base. Others thought it was someone suffering from a mental breakdown, maybe a local barber pushed to the brink by wartime stress. A few went further, claiming the intruder wasn't human at all, a ghost, a spirit, some restless thing moving through town, obsessed with hair like a morbid collector. But beneath the hysteria, the pattern was impossible to ignore. The Phantom's attacks were precise, surgical even. He never left more than a single cut. He avoided theft. He vanished before anyone could wake. There was something almost ritualistic about it. Over the next few months, sightings dwindled. The war raged on, and the people of Pascagoula tried to move forward. William Dolan was convicted, though for attempted murder, not for the haircutting crimes, and sentenced to 10 years in prison. But many residents doubted his guilt. When Dolan was finally released years later, he maintained his innocence until his death, insisting the evidence against him had been planted. And that's where the official record ends. No one ever confessed to being the Phantom Barber. No one ever caught him in the act. And after 1942, the attacks simply stopped. Just as suddenly as he appeared, he was gone. But the story didn't end there. In later years, strange details started resurfacing. Police records from the time hinted that some of the cut hair had been tied together with string as if collected for a purpose. Local folklore claimed that certain houses were broken into multiple times, but only when new people moved in. Some residents even swore that, on quiet nights, they could still hear the sound of scissors snipping in the dark. Decades later, one elderly witness, who had been a child during the Summer of Fear, claimed she remembered waking up one night to see a shadow standing over her bed. She said he smelled faintly of perfume and disinfectant. He didn't touch her. He just leaned close and whispered something she couldn't understand before slipping back into the night. Police dismissed her memory as a dream, but she insisted it wasn't. He was real, she said, and he wanted something. Something we couldn't give him. To this day, the case of the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula remains unsolved. No confirmed motive, no definitive suspect, no closure. Just a town's collective nightmare, sealed into history. But if you ever find yourself in Pascagoula, the locals will definitely share a spine-tingling warning that you won't forget. On those humid summer nights, when the wind whispers through the trees and the air feels almost as still, don't even think about leaving your window open. Seriously, you'll want to keep it shut tight. Because sometimes, just for a fleeting moment, you might hear that faint metallic sound of scissors snipping away in the dark. Can you imagine that? It sends chills racing down your spine, right? The thought that someone could be lurking just outside your window, watching, waiting, always on the hunt for another lock of hair, feels like a scene straight out of a horror movie. It's like a twisted game to them, you know? You definitely want to double-check those locks and pull the curtains tight, just to feel a bit safer. It's a haunting reminder that some stories linger long after the lights go out, leaving an eerie echo in the night that's hard to shake off. So keep your windows closed, my friend.